Hello and welcome to hobby vlog number 97. This hobby vlog covers the full week when Angela and Rosie is away, and I expected to have a huge amount done on the model railway, and even probably be standing here saying it's done, it's at a happy point and I'm pleased with where it's got to. Now I am pleased with where it's got to, but I spent the first 4 days of this week basically burying myself working on Tawny and getting very little hobby time at all, if anything. Like enough time to roll out and stick on some air dry clay retaining walls, and that was it for the day, kind of amount of time, and that only takes 3 minutes. But with that finished on Thursday, I've cracked on. I've had a good day yesterday, Saturday. I've had a good morning already this morning, Sunday, as I record this, and I'm going to continue on today. And I really hope that by the time they come back, it will at least have the buildings on it, and I will have cleaned the track and the train will be running around, and that will be a really good success. I'm really pleased if that's the case. But other than that, I've been working on the other model railway, and I've also been putting some time into a few other projects. For example, a 3D printed thing that didn't work, which I'm recovering. So I hope that you enjoy this video. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I love reading them all. I do reply to every single one of them. I say this all the time, and I mean it. They really inspire me and encourage me to keep going. So thanks to everyone who does. I'll stop rambling now, and I will see you again at the end. I was just working around this, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to film a bit, because what I'm doing is that corner, that back corner, which is a bit difficult to work with, obviously. So what I've done is I've gone along and I've gone in with a little kitchen towel, laid it down in the corner, that's how the corner is, and drawn around it where, so the railway is over here, where I've got a good amount of gap between the railway and where this slope is going to begin. And what I'm now going to do is cut that out and then place it onto this sheet of polystyrene and then draw what I want to do. So I'll probably just like curve each one off quite dramatically, but yeah, that's how I've gone about doing it. So I've made a little template just out of something soft that was really easy for me to draw on, and really easy for me to place over the top of the tracks, and yeah, it's working well. So I'm going to be making this back bank on my bench, and then I'll put it in place just because it's a bit difficult to get to. It's quite a difficult corner. So I'll do all of the shaping and stick all the layers together, and then when that's done I'll stick it in place, and then I can do the modelling compound over the top. So there we are, that's how I'm going about doing that. Next time you see it, it'll be in place probably. As I promised, the next time we come back to this, I have done my shaping. So I've shaped this little spur, very pleased with that, and I've also shaped and stuck in this very white expanded polystyrene, which is a nice little hill that goes at the back there. So the train will weave its way very nicely through these and around the back, and that looks really cool. So what I'm now going to do is start the process of putting the modelling compound along here. And also I'm going to extend the retaining wall at the back. So yeah, got quite excited about how this is going to look, yeah, I think probably the first thing I'm going to do is just the modelling compound along that bit there and up to the bank, because this side I am going to have to really work on where these buildings are going to go. So yeah, good bit of progress. Had a very busy day again today. Other things, took in the swimming pool down and worked on Tawny for a long time today, so to have made some progress on this is a real win, and I'm very pleased to have actually got some time on it. The next stage is to base these buildings. The reason for this is if I can base these on a regular square base, I can then deal with the scenicking close to hand at my bench, and I can also mask off and leave an area in the town which into which I can drop them, so I'm not going to risk damaging them and putting like the modelling compound on them by accident when I'm actually doing the rest of the scenicking. And also it'll mean that I can have some placeholders that I can write on: church, school, whatever, and that'll make it a lot easier for me to work. The second thing that I've realised is the church is going to go here. Obviously that's where the church is going to go, and I think that I'm actually going to have over here be so the other side of the road is where the main graveyard is going to go for the church, and obviously I've got this awesome Scale Scenics tree here which has the chair around the base, which I was thinking about putting in that little Y. That's where the Y junction is, but I think that might actually now go somewhere else. I'm not totally sure where. That will mean that my car park for the station can be a little bit bigger, and it will mean they're slightly less constrained. So yeah, so those are the two things I'm going to do. I'm going to start thinking about how I'm going to lay out the graveyard, but first of all I'm going to be working on the basing. Now the one I've started, as you can see, is the school. I'll zoom that in very quickly. So the school I didn't completely finish when I was building it. I pointed out that I hadn't done the walls and what have you. That's going to be a really nice way of working out just how big my base is going to need to be, because I can put this wall around it and then I can base like a couple of, maybe about an inch or so on either side, and then I can put some flowers and what have you on the base and then drop that in. I'll do roughly the same thing for the pub. So that's already got a base, so I might even just draw around that base and I can drop that in like that, rather than trying to add another one, and then I can scenic this base, put some flowers and what have you around it. And the same thing I'm thinking of for the fire engine. So the fire station is going to have, fire station, not fire engine, the fire station is going to have quite a large parking area. It's going to need to have good access. So that's going to probably, what I'll do is put it on a base and have the parking area, or the road, the entrance to it in already also attached. And the church I will do very simply. I'll just put that on a rectangle, and then I can slot that in. So I'm going to do those four things now, and I'll bring you along to show you if anything is interesting. I'll bring you along to show you how I do it. But basically it's just going to be using my technique for avoiding warping, and gluing them down and doing a little bit of scenicking around the bases so that I can drop them in. And once I've done that, then I can mark it off on here and I can continue doing the rest of the modelling compound, which is very, very exciting because that's going to really finish it off. So yeah, cracking on. I do need to decide if I'm going to do something in this corner over here, which is currently empty. I might do, I might not, I'm not sure. There could be another building that could go there. I might leave it unscenic for a bit while I decide. I'm not going to be able to do this section here because this is where the station is until I've started building that. So I might leave this whole unscenic and try and think of something else to do over there as well. So there we are, bit of a rambly update there with more thoughts than progress, but I figured it was interesting maybe to hear what my thought process is. Another lesson has been learned in my 3D printing adventure. What you see here is an absolutely beautiful sculpt that I printed out, and I will attempt to remember to pop a link to it in the description below. I think I bought this even, so it's not free. And it comes in two parts, so you glue the top bit on and then you have this beautiful tower with fantastic steps. It's just lovely, but you can obviously see what's happened. And I know exactly what's happened. So I hollowed this because it was a big lump of resin and it was going to be very heavy, and I was a bit worried it wouldn't actually stay on the build plate. So I hollowed it out and didn't put the correct drains in, obviously. And I did this before my holiday, and so I realised that there was resin inside it, but I just left it because I was in a rush. It was just before the holiday, I didn't have time to do anything about it, and what I was going to do was drill into the bottom and drain the resin and what have you. And when I came back from my holiday, I found that this had happened. The resin inside had expanded, the whole thing had cracked, and yeah, the resin had gone everywhere. Fortunately, it was on a paper towel, so it didn't cause any damage. But yeah, it's not totally irretrievable, and I think I'm going to be able to do something with it, which is what I'm going to do in this video. But yeah, there's a lesson learned there. Make sure you got time to do all of the cleanup that you need to on a model, even to the extent of if you've screwed up the hollowing and you need to drill out holes in the bottom to drain out the spare resin. So I'm going to try to save this because I really like it, and there's a lot of resin in that, and yeah, I'm sure it is going to be salvable, and I'll do that on the video. But yeah, just an interesting thing. Couldn't believe it when I got back. I was so shocked. So yes, what we're going to do is going to put it on a base, paint it and decorate it, and it'll be a really nice bit of scatter trains. So yeah, let's get it based and painted. what I'm going to do for basing this is make use of my never warp again technique, which works really, really well, I promise. For that, what we need is a bunch of clamps, something which is not going to warp. So I use, for smaller things, I use this shelf type from actually, I can't remember where it came from, I think it's actually from a shelf. And I'm going to use Weetabix. So you can really see, when you watch this, you can really see how well this anti-warping works, because this is even warped, just kind of like holding it right now, but it won't be when it's finished. So what we'll do is I will cut out a shape from this Weetabix and then clamp it down to the baseboard, and then I'm going to glue this on top straight away. So that's the plan I'm going to do, and what I'll do is I'll mark out roughly the shape that I want around this, and then I'll make sure that my scenicking doesn't go too far over that, so that it actually is possible for me to cut the extraneous Weetabix box off. So yeah, there's a video in the link below, in the description below, to details showing how I do this if you want to watch it, but I'll come back to this when it's all glued down and we're ready for the next step. So again, kitchen paper or kitchen towel to the rescue. What I'm doing here is I'm working out the size of the pads that I want these to sit on, and just making use of the kitchen roll because it's easy to fold and easy to tear, and I can also make use of it for filling and packing, so I can recycle it and it won't go to waste, rather than using something else which might do. So what I've done is I've roughly worked out where everything's going to sit. So this is where the school is. I've moved this off already because I just was looking at something else, but that's where the school's going to sit, and that's the base, the size of the base of school will be on. This is the size of the base that the fire station will be on, and that far corner will have a little bit of a parking area for their cars. So basically they'll be able to go straight out of the front door and up the road here, if they're in their fire engine. I might move this back slightly so that there's a little space at the front for the fire engine, but I need to work out how big the fire engine is, because they probably want to pull their fire engine forward to wash it or whatever, so that might make sense. The pub, which I have had some name suggestions, so please keep them coming. I'm considering them, or once it's finished and I get to do the sign, I'll be picking one. The pub does not need to have an extra base because it's already sitting on one, which is really cool, so I'll just scenic that and then I'll be able to drop that in. And then the church here again is going to sit on this shape. So what I'm about to do now is take these bits of paper towel and go and put them down on my mounting board. So I'll show you that now. So here we are. This is some offcuts of mounting board, which was a material I'd never used and now I've bought. I love it. It's just basically thick cardboard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a square, the rough shape of this folded up bit of kitchen roll. I'll square it off so it won't be at a weird angle. You can see that that fold isn't quite right, so I'll get my straight edge and my 90 degrees and make sure I do it right. And then once that's done, what you can see here is the school, and the school I've done a little bit more making actually. The school comes with a card stock tarmac area that fits around it like that. So that's going to be, first of all, I'll glue that down to the, oh, I've got a little baby critter on my desk. Yeah, so that will be glued down to the cardstock, and then when that's all gone off and totally dry, then I'll start doing the rest of the scenicking. So I'm going to get that cut and stuck, and I'll also do it for all of the other houses, all the other buildings that are going to be going onto the layout, and then I'll show you what I'll do after that. So first of all, we're going to get this shape cut out. And actually then I'm going to mark it up on the model railway before I stick anything down. So I'll take this base template and go and mark it in with pen and with masking tape as well on the layout. So yeah, I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. So as you can see, we have a base cut out there, and that actually, funnily enough, fits in almost exactly where I had drawn around my paper towel, which is really, really nice to see. But yeah, just goes to show that I had guessed right or worked it out right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to draw around it with pencil, mark it onto the board where it's going to go, and then I'm going to make use of some masking tape, and I'm going to mask the inside, very important, that the inside of this square. And what that means then is I'll scenic up to that, but then I'll be able to peel this off and I'll be able to drop my plate in place. And this is the technique that I'll use for all the other sections as well. So let's get that done. So there we are. What I'll do is I'll come along, and these ones here I will just cut off that overlap there and there and there, just so that it doesn't go underneath the scenicking and become very difficult to remove the tape later. Though I suppose I could actually just leave the tape down, but I want to be able to peel it off so I can take the scenicking off. So I'll do that. I'll go along and get a knife and just cut those bits off. But that's basically the technique. So I'll do this for all of the other buildings, and then we'll start to actually do finish the scenicking of all of the rest of this, which is brilliant, but also I'll be able to focus on the actual buildings. So yeah, let's get cracking. I made a little boo-boo. You can see that the buildings are now stuck onto their bases, but the pub I stuck on at the wrong angle. I meant to have it like that, facing that way, and I did it wrong. But it doesn't matter. What I'm going to have to do is peel up these masking tapes and put them into the new arrangement, but that's fine, it won't take me a second. And then I will be able to do the scenicking over here. Now my thinking is, there's a couple of things to show you actually. I don't have it here, so I can't show you in detail. I'll do another clip on that another time. I'm going to have a bridge over the railway here, because the car park for the railway is going to be kind of here. And so they're going to have to cross over to get to the platform. But what I might do is have it so that it's a little bit further over, and it's actually combined with the pub. So you can come out and then maybe have a little bit of a playground over here, or a beer garden over here, or something like that. Maybe even another pond or something. And yeah, as I said, I've got the kit for that. I've got the kit for the bridge. The other thing to show is I have this kit here, which I think Angela might have got me for Christmas or birthday or something. Pretty sure she did. A playground. Or maybe my mum might have done, actually. Can't remember. I get bought lovely things from people. So many gifts. I'm very lucky. So yeah, so that will be used both in the playground of the school and also potentially outside the pub. So yeah, pretty cool. Very happy about that. So I will fix this, and then I will begin putting the rest of the modelling compound all over this area, and I promise that this area here will be started as well. This is where the station platform is going to go, so that will need to be begun very shortly. But yeah, progress. So this is glued on nice and securely, as you can see there. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the modelling compound, which I'm just mixing up as I talk, and I'm going to build that up, just not very much, just a little bit around the base, mainly to cover where the glue is and just to cover the cardboard, the Weetabix. So yeah, so just to mix it up. I do this very much by sight now, and I generally get it the correct consistency first time, so I've been doing this a lot. I go for a lot of this stuff, but this is the consistency that I generally go for with the modelling compound from Luke, or from Geek Gaming, if you're following his new name. So what we'll do is I'll just come along and put a very thin skim, and then after a couple of minutes I will come back with clean hands and I will smooth it over, and I'll leave it to go off overnight completely before I come and have a look at it in the morning. Now you can work with this quite quickly after you've applied it, because it does go off quite fast actually, but I'm going to leave it overnight. So I'll get this done, and then I'll actually come back and show you how it looks when I'm smoothing it. I think that'd be quite interesting. So I'll just get this all put in place now, and I'll be back when that's ready for smoothing in a minute or two. I'll let you know roughly how long it is as well. So yeah, get this done. This isn't far off ready for smoothing, so I'm going to come along now, and all I do is just run my finger, which is clean, like I say. You don't want it to be covered in the compound, otherwise it will just stick to it again. Just gently smooth it off. You can do a good result with the circular smoothing motion as well. But yeah, I want this to be a very kind of green sward effect, so I don't really want lumps. Whereas if you're doing a rough ground, obviously even the result that I'd managed to get on the initial application may be sufficient. But yeah, it's a simple technique, doesn't take very long. It's been a couple of minutes tops since I finished applying it, and it's already at that stage. So yeah, we're just going to smooth out the lumps and bumps, and then I'll leave that to go off overnight. So there we are. I think that's good enough. Cool. So it's the next day and I've come to have a look at this and I've realised I have made a mistake. So in the interest of keeping a learning for all of us, I'm going to show you what I've done and what I'm going to have to do to fix it. So I don't know if you can see, but this is flaking a bit, and also, yeah, it's just peeled off away from the cardboard. And the reason for that is this cardboard is shiny. So it being shiny means that when nothing's going to stick to it. So that's just pulled off as a pad, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a different cardboard base, I will then stick it down just using PVA for this to a different cardboard base. And I've got this mounting board. This is like artist mounting board or whatever, thick cardboard basically. And I'm going to make use of that. So I'll cut a slice off that, and then I'll glue this down onto that, and then clamp it again. I'll leave it to dry, and hopefully that will resolve this issue. But it does just go to show that mistakes are often made. Yesterday, late after finishing up my Tawny stuff, I went on a complete binge of modelling compound, and I've made loads of progress, as you can see. Now, I'm currently debating whether I'm going to stick these bases down with the houses now. I think it might actually make sense. I'm not sure whether my idea with the masking off has worked very well. I will be thinking about that. I'm just taking 2 minutes while my kettle's boiling now to film this. I'm not going to do any work on it. But we're really close now to being able to do the next step, which is going to be adding on the grout and painting this all up and then putting the grass on, which is just incredible. I'm loving it. So what you can see is here's the road. I've got that really smooth again. Here's the car park, got that really smooth as well. We've got the pub just tucked around the corner, as I said, and the fire station is there. Now that does mean that I've got a gap here, so I'm having to think a little bit about what I'm going to go there. It could be a pub, the pub beer garden, and then I might think about doing something else in this corner. I'm not sure, so I'm just going to consider that for a bit. But yeah, next thing is going to be finish off this the application of the modelling compound all the way on the other side of the tracks. I'm going to need to put some more of the air dry clay for a retaining wall here, and actually I have to do the retaining wall on the other side of the mound behind the school, so over there, so the other side of that mound needs to have the retaining wall done as well in air dry clay, so I'll probably do that. That takes a couple of minutes. I'll probably get that glued on today and then painted first thing tomorrow. And then yeah, once I've done those two bits, there's the final bits of the air dry clay can be done, not the air dry clay, the modelling compound can be done at the base of here and at the base of that rise. And then yeah, I'll have to think about what's going to actually happen with the buildings. Am I going to stick them in place, or am I going to continue to try and work without them stuck in place? I think I'm going to stick them in place, and then I can come in and I can apply the textures all at the same time over the top of both. So talking to that, I think I'm going to try to do like a gravelly type effect, certainly a gravel effect at the front of the school, and I'll probably do grass down the sides, but I need to do a path. There's going to be a car park, as I've said. This is going to be tarmacked, or maybe even just the same kind of like colour as I've done for the roads. I might just leave it like that, kind of like a very light colour. And then yeah, once I've done that, I can really start to decorate it. So cracking on. Good progress, really was good last night. I just was in such a joyous mood of having finished the Tawny changes that I really smashed into this and made lots of progress, so that was really good. I've finished putting on all of the snow effect, and I'm really pleased with how that's looking. So the next thing that I'm going to do, which is going to be something completely new for me, but I'm going to probably have to get very good at it because I'm going to have loads and loads of this to do, is applying some material between the tracks, so the ballast basically. So I'm going to try and do this with a spoon. I do have a 3D printable applicator, which I might eventually get around to printing. But yeah, I'm going to try it with a spoon. I'm going to just try in a little area first, so a little bit of a practice, see how it works, and if that works, then I'll come and do the lot. And if it doesn't work, then I'll print out that applicator and come back and do it again. So what I've got is, this is from Geek Gaming, from Luke. I've got his granite dust. I've got a plastic spoon, and I have in room 13 behind me, I forgot to bring it with me, I have some of my terrain glue, which is watered down PVA, and a brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the PVA just in a small section, like I say, put the dust over the top to fill it in, and then put some more PVA over the top and then let it to dry. So I will get myself together, focus the camera in a little bit closer, and then let's give this a go. This really is true beard clipper style. I haven't practiced this. This is on camera, my first attempt at this technique. So let's see how badly this goes. So I think I'm just going to do it along this section, so between that nail there and that nail there. I really am going to only do a very small amount. So I've got my brush, and what you want to do is make sure you're not getting it on the tracks, I think. Now, one thing with this is I'm not painting the tracks yet on this one, the sleepers. I have started to paint them on the other model railway, which you'll know if you're watching that as well, though I haven't got very far with it, honestly. But yeah, really I should have painted the tracks, but yeah. So put the glue on. I'm chatting because I'm feeling a bit nervous. There we are. And then a little bit round the sides. There we are. And now we have this granite dust, and what I'm going to do is drop it in. Right, what I need to do now is just push that in place. It's a little bit over the top of the tracks. I think maybe what I should do next time is, rather than putting the glue on first, I should put the ballast on, spread it to where I want with a dry brush, and then drop the glue in, because that's made a little bit of a mess. It's going to be okay. One of the reasons why I'm doing it on this build, as much as this build is important, it's only out for a very short amount of time in the year. It's about a month a year for while it's Christmas. So it doesn't actually, it's a good practice track for techniques. So I'm going to let that to dry, which will probably take a while because I put a lot of glue in just to make sure that I don't have any ballast stuck to the outside of the tracks. There we are. I'll let that dry and see what that looks like. But yeah, that's worked okay, but I think maybe I'll try a different technique next time. I'm out of time now anyway. I've only got a very short time to work on this. So maybe I'll pick another section of the track and do the other technique and see how that works. Oh, this has worked. That's now glued down nicely to this cardboard. I should have used the Weetabix the other way around, so I had the Weetabix base down rather than, and the brown cardboard that I glued this to rather than the other way around, but never mind. I leave that in as a learning experience. So what I'm going to do now is going to take this and I'm going to go and prime and paint the actual tower. So I'll do that with my model paint, and then we'll finish off the base and then it'll be done. It's not going to take very long. So I will tell you what colours I used and show you some of the techniques I'm going to use. I actually noticed the first thing I need to do is, it was a bad idea hollowing this out. I put some holes in the top there before I printed it, did that in the rendering software, and obviously I need to fill those as well with some green stuff, so I'll get those filled, and then I will prime and paint it, and I'll let you know how I do that, but it's probably going to be done with some contrast paints and a very basic technique, so yeah, it won't take me very long. So I will update as I go, and then we'll have a look at the base of it, and then it'll be done. The courier has just been, and I have some cool new stuff that's arrived. A couple of bits I've been waiting for a little while, and one bit that I was not really waiting for, but happy to see. So what we'll do is have a look and see what I've got. And I'll focus first of all on this, which you can see is from Warworld Scenics, and is something I'm very pleased to have because it's going to help with the model railway. So I'll focus in, get ready, and show you what it is. So I picked this up in the sale, which is just ongoing, might have just stopped, I'm not sure, but I had a discount, and I've been thinking about getting these for a little while, so I thought while the discount was active, why not? Now I've had a Warworld Scenic static grass applicator for a long time. I actually have the first batch, the 6th one they ever sold, I think it is. And I love it, I really do like it. But what I've gone for here is the one problem I had with that, and the one difficulty I've had with it, is actually putting into small and tight slots. It's a very big one. I've got the largest one, so let me just grab that down and show you. I lied, it was serial number 13, so it's the 13th one they ever sold. So you can see just the size difference. This is the one I've had for years and it's worked well and it's a workhorse, I love it. And what I decided to do was to go for the micro and detailer static grass pack, which was slightly cheaper than buying them separately, and then with the money off it really did make sense. So this is going to be really helpful. I mean, look at how small that end is. It's going to be really helpful for just getting static grass in those areas which, frankly, if you've been watching my video, you'll have noticed I struggle to get the static grass applied sometimes, and that will really help, I hope. So that will be used on the channel very soon as I'm working on the model railway, and also for various other things. I think that's going to get a lot of use, and it's really nice to have finally pulled the trigger. I've been thinking about getting it for months and months and months, so it's nice to finally have it. So that's the first thing that arrived today. Let's have a look at one of the other boxes. So next, this is something I really am quite excited about. I've held off on ordering these for about a year. Long-term viewers will know the project that this is going to be used for. I have finally got another 5 kilograms of the clear epoxy, which I use for my water effects. And that means that finally, yes, finally, what I call the crazy lake build is going to be back on the cards. So I'm pretty excited about this. So yeah, so you'll watch out for that coming soon. I'll be mixing and pouring resin. Obviously you can see I've only bought the 5 kilograms. I'm probably going to need to buy at least 1 if not 2 more packs of this, and it's not cheap. This was 130 GBP I think just for this, so it's not a cheap project, but I'm very excited to get back to it and do some more pouring and hopefully progress that a little further along. So yeah, it'll be coming very soon to the channel, and maybe I'll try to do some other things that need epoxy as well, because the problem with that huge lake build is it just uses up all of the epoxy, and then I don't have any at all left over for other projects. So anyway, that's what that is. Let's have a look at the last packet. So the last packet is here, and it has come across from Mindwork Games, and is some absolutely beautiful resin models. Now I've not opened this actually, I just did all of the kind of annoying noisy bits. As you can see, I don't even know how to open the boxes. So I've not even looked at these yet, so we were looking at these together for the first time. So let's look at the biggest one first. Hair of the Moon, number 15, limited edition of 200. One thing you've got to say about Mindwork Games is they know how to present. Now, I mean, it is a bit ridiculous because obviously it's a big box for not very much stuff, but it comes with a plinth. So when I do this, it's actually going to have be able to be set on a display, which is really cool. When I get to it, I'm going to have to stop working at some point and actually start painting these things that I'm able to buy because I'm working so much. And here is the resin cast. Absolutely beautiful. A little bit of cleanup needed, but yeah, there we are. She is obviously a satyr. I think that's what you call, rather than I think it's a satyr, isn't it? So there we are, the Hair of the Moon, limited edition. So that's one thing. Let's have a look at what the next thing is. So picking at random, let's go for the one on the left. Ah, no, they're all the same. They're all little magnetic lift-ups. That's really cool. That's new. So I'm not such a fan of the packing material like this because it causes a mess and it's very hard to get it all back in again. But let's see what this one is. Lots and lots of packing material. Not ideal. So we have a base, which is like a cracked floor base. So I can't remember the names of things. I should probably open up the pack, open up the shipping listing and see what they're called. So let me just do that and I'll be able to talk a bit more intelligently about them. Okay, so this one is Samurai Girl. This first one, that's Samurai Girl, which is pretty cool. You can go and see these on the website. I think they're probably still for sale. I don't think they've sold out yet. But still, very, very cool. So let me pack that away and then we'll have a look at the last one. This is going to make you laugh. What they are is written on them. So that had Samurai Girl, number 26 of 300, limited edition. And this one is Dream State, number 57 of 300. Now I ordered these quite a long time ago, so yeah, that's why I'd forgotten what they were called. But yeah, still pretty awesome. And as you can see, I'm not able to get all the packing back in. But as long as it stays safe, it's fine. So this is Dream State. I mean, one of the things I really, really like about mine work is the quality of their castings. It's just so clean. There is some cleanup you need to do, but it's just beautiful. So yeah, this is a hair of the moon. There's the base, and that's it. So she has a moon face, literally. Look. Very simple one. So I will absolutely, when I do these, do a video about them. But when I do them is anyone's guess. Because at the moment I'm working just too much to even think about having time to start a project like that. But that could change. Could be another few months of this, and then I hopefully will be a bit more time, a bit more relaxed in my personal life in terms of work, and I'll be able to get a little bit more of these projects done. So there we are, a really exciting little delivery. These can now go onto the Mountain of Opportunity. The resin will be used very soon because I'm very excited about that, and the static grass applicators will be put to use, if not today, then over the weekend. So yeah, most of this is going to be used straight away. It's just these resin ones that are going to have to go into the backlog. So I've got to the stage now, very, very excited about this, where I'm going to start to put on the grout over the top of all of this modelling compound which I've applied. So I've mixed them up, and if you want to know how I do it, there is a video in the description. There's a link to a video, but this is the one which is mixed up to do the ground texture. I do a different colour for the roads. So what I'm going to do now, just with a normal paintbrush, is apply this everywhere where you see white that isn't going to be a road. There's a song like that, isn't there? It's going to be a road. Was it the Levelers? I show my age. So anyway, so I'm going to do that, and then when that's all done, I'll do the I'll be able to start doing the static grass application. But this is where the whole thing really starts to kind of like come together fast, and I love it. So anyway, I will pop some music on, and yeah, I'll probably record only this first stage, to be honest, because it's very repetitive, but I'm very excited. So I'll put some music on, record all this, and you can sit back and enjoy and watch just how quickly this transforms the whole build. Yeah. Well, there we are. That's used up all of the grout in that first mix. You can see it's going to take a little while, but it's just going to transform the whole build. So I'm going to get that done. I'll bring you back when I'm about to start doing the next step on this bit, which will probably be the roads and the parking lot, which is actually going to take up quite a bit of, so it's going to come in here, go down there, and then this here is going to be the village square. So it's going to be all of that. So there's going to be quite a lot of that, but this is all going to be done with grass. So I'm going to paint the rest of this mix over all of the rest of the build, and then I'll come and do the road, and I'll bring you along when I get to the road. But yeah, I think you can probably hear my voice. I'm very excited to see this coming on, and cannot wait to get this step finished, so I'm going to crack on. Well, I'm grinning a little bit crazily right now, because what you can see here is I've done all of the grout application that I want to do for this stage. I'm leaving this front section because I'm not totally sure what I'm going to do here, and I need to do the station, but the grout has been put all on the land, and then I've also done all around where the road is. So yeah, that's really awesome. Next up for this is going to be applying the static grass, and getting the houses in place, and also working out some of the stuff like the bridge, but I'm probably gonna have to wait until I do the station until I do the bridge. So that's that. But yeah, how cool is that? I'm really pleased. Really pushing on with this now. So not only that, some delivery arrived today, which I'm going to show you now. I'm pretty excited about as well. So let's get into room 13 and show you that. With building this town end, of course, I need to have some life in it. So you can see that I've had a delivery from the Oxford models. Oxford Collectibles. They're little die casts in the white scale, which is really cool. So I've got myself an ice cream van. I had to get one of these, little dinky car. I've got myself just a delivery truck, and a TR6. But most excitingly, and this is the last that will be seen of this until Christmas, because this is going to go and get wrapped up for Rosie, the fire engine. So that's going to be wrapped up as a Christmas present, and Rose will get that on Christmas Day, and that can go onto the layout and go with the wherever she wants it. She can put it where she wants it on the road, and or by the fire station. So yeah, so these arrived today. Very cool. That's going to go into storage, and these will be placed on the layout at some point when it's finished, which is hopefully not going to be very long now. So yeah, really cool progress. I think the next thing I'm going to do is work on the buildings, so work on the scenery around on the base of the buildings, and then get those stuck in place. And I'm also going to be doing the static grassing, and that will mean using the new applicators, so I'll probably bring you along for a little bit of that to show how they go. Anyway, really cool progress. I've made a start on this using contrast paints, as it happens, for the wood, using contrast wildwood. Let me get a little bit better light on that, which has come out really nicely. So I made a few mistakes. I was very tired when I was painting this, which is always a bad thing, but hey, it'll turn out all right. So yeah, I made a few mistakes, as you can see here and here, where I didn't keep my brush very tidy, and yeah, that was a bit annoying. But there's basically going to be three colours, or three areas of colour on this. So the wood is going to be the one that I've done, and then we've got the stones, and then we've got this kind of like interesting thing going on here. So I'm not sure totally what colour I'm going to do these yet. I also decided to leave the holes in the top, because what I'm going to do is put some smoke coming out of them. So I just left them, because yeah, I'll fill them with smoke. So pretty pleased with how it's looking at the moment. I'm going to carry on with this and get some more colour on it, maybe this evening, maybe tomorrow, depending on how tired I am. And then yeah, I'll bring you along to tell you what it is, what I'm using, because yeah, hopefully this is going to look really nice. So you can see over here, this is where I did my first attempt. It's a bit messy. I'm not massively pleased with it, so I'm going to try something different, and give that a test, and then find out what I prefer. So what I'm going to do different is I'm going to apply the ballast with my spoon before I put any glue down, and then I'm going to come along with a soft brush and brush it in. And I think this is going to be the better idea, and I'm pretty sure this is what most people do, to be fair. So yeah, I'm just going to get that done. So let's see how successful that is. And then what I'll do is I'll get a dropper, and I'll drop my some watered down glue, my terrain glue, over the top, to seal it in place. So yeah, let's just drop some of this in. There we are. Right, I've got a brush, so I'm now going to try just gently brushing. Oh yeah, this is much better. Already happier with this. There we are. That's how to do it. Right, so I'm now going to try the glue. So I'll go and get myself a dropper, because I forgot to pick one up. Just make sure that I clear the rails. That's the important part of this. You don't want to be derailing your train with badly applied ballast. Now, again, I said in the previous clip, ideally I would have painted these first, but I didn't, and I've started, and it's just too late now for me to do that. But on the main railway, obviously I have started the process of painting them. So yeah, that's much better. That's how to do it, I think. It's just going to be a case of applying it steadily like this and teasing each of the bits of ballast into the right place. So I'll get this finished, the brushing done, and then when I'm coming to do the gluing, I'll turn the camera back on, because there's just going to be a lot of this for the next few minutes. Well, that is one thing that goes further than you realise when you do it like that. So it probably is going to be more efficient in terms of actual materials to go on the track. So that's good. So what I've got now is I've got my dropper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop that on, and then what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll drop on some alcohol, some 100% alcohol to break up that tension, and that will then mean that it flows in nicely and will then seal down all of this material. So I think this is going to be the technique. I'm only doing a little drop a little bit right now because I just want to practice and test it out. If this works, then I'll just go along and do the entirety of the rest of it and just get it done. And then this piece is finished pretty much, apart from a couple of little ideas I've got, which I hope I get time to do. So yeah, pretty pleased. Happy to have got this done. It's running down a bit. It's quite a sharp gradient off the edge of the viaduct. You watch all these other model railroad people doing this and they look so expert at it. Here's me. Anyway, that's what you get on this channel. So there we are. I'll see how that looks when it's dried. It's actually, the surface tension is actually doing all right because of how fine the ballast is, so it's actually breaking it up for me. So I don't know that I need to do the alcohol. What maybe I should have done is alcohol first. So I might do another test of that and see how that works. Do alcohol first and let you know. This is an experiment, obviously. I have watched lots of people do this. I do think alcohol first is the right way to do it. But yeah, I like to learn by doing. So I'm making mistakes. This is how I learn. Right, this bit over here is thin, narrow, and exactly why I ordered the new static grass applicators. So let's see how well they work. This is the first time I've actually turned it on. Much better. I was really struggling to get in there with the big machine, but I'm able to now. There's two extra attachments on this detailer. I'm using the widest one because, well, that's actually what I want, the widest one. The static on it is hugely better than my older large applicator. So that's a lot better. It's actually standing them up. Of course, you hardly get any in. So I think I've run out already. But that's worked really well. I'm really pleased with that. That's meant doing these little sections here has actually been possible, whereas before it wasn't. And there's quite a lot on this railway, and there'll be a lot on other railways that I'll need to use that for. So yeah, great purchase. Onwards, I'm really cracking on with the static grassing on this. I'll do a little summary in a minute as I'll show you where I'm up to, because I'm very nearly finished on all the static grass. Right then, we have lots and lots of static grassing done. I've also done a test of how I'm going to remove the masking tape, and it's actually worked a lot better than I thought it would, so I'm quite pleased. So that's where the pop is going to go, and I'll do the rest another time. So you can see that there's still, this has just been finished. I've just finished putting it on. There's still all the waste. I'm going to wait for that to dry and then come along and hoover that up, vac that up, and then I can reuse that. Over here is what I did before, so that's all dried and been hoovered. So what I just did was this little patch here and then along the back and sides there. So I've not done this section here because this is where the graveyard's going to go, and I just want to have a bit more of a think about where I want the grass, where I might want paths. So I might put some paths in first. So that's just waiting on thinking. But the key point was to get all of this corner done, because with this done I can now start to situate those buildings, and that's going to be really important for me. If I get nothing less done, I really want the buildings to be in, so Rosie can see that fire station. I'm actually tingling with excitement. Oh, and I have just noticed that I missed this bit back here, but I'll probably do that at the same time as I do this. And I've also got to do the top of this end of the tunnel as well, which is going to be done with brambles. That was held up because I was just waiting and I didn't want to mix up just a tiny amount of the grout. So I did the grouting on that at the same time as I've done all the grouting over here, and that now needs to be done as well. With the new applicator, I'm going to be able to come along and finish off around this edge of this track, which I couldn't get into with the old applicator. And really what I should do is put the sign up, shouldn't I? So I might get that done as well. But it really is starting to take shape now. It really is. Very, very cool to see it coming together like this. And yeah, when those buildings are in, it's just going to be transformative. So yeah, I'm going to crack on and try and get that done as soon as possible. But yeah, big moment. Got to wait now for that static grass to dry before I can do anything else really. So just going to take a pause. Well, I'm back on form, 50 minutes. That's more what you expect from a big clipper vlog. So if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. It's a really pretty long update, and yeah, I expect next week's to be long as well. I meant to bring this up in the intro and I forgot, but Sean from Sean's Bits Bots will appreciate this, Sean Connolly. I found just randomly in the shop this week a sharpening stick, so I will be sharpening my blades from now on and no longer replacing them as much. So thanks very much to you, Sean, for that inspiration. And if you don't yet follow him or watch his videos, why not go and do it? He's amazing, and they are wonderful to watch, and I really enjoy them, and you would as well, I'm sure. If you've made it this far, then you must enjoy hobby videos, and his hobby videos are superb. Anyway, I'll stop rambling again now. I'm rambling here. Get this video uploaded and hopefully shared soon, and yeah, hopefully you will comment below and let me know what you think. I'll wrap up by saying, as I always do, thanks for watching, and please stay healthy, stay safe, and stay well.